Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, May the 31st. Not even June yet, and the heat index is up near 100. Lots of other things to be hot about, too. Let's start with the Washington, D.C. swamp. The news out of Washington today is that President Trump has given a presidential pardon to Dinesh D'Souza. He's something of a conservative commentator. He's a racist and a reliable supplier of racist comments about Barack Obama. He's a homophobe, anti-gay. He's also pleaded guilty to a felony campaign finance contribution. Donald Trump naturally thinks he was treated unfairly by being made a felon by admitting he'd done a crime. Trump also told reporters on a plane today he might pardon Martha Stewart, and he also might commute the sentence of Rod Blagojevich, the Illinois politician who got caught up in scandal. The big news here is that Donald Trump has sent a message: if you're on my side, and racists are always on his side, the odds are he'll look after you when the pardon time comes around. No doubt Paul Manafort paid close attention to what he did today and won't be talking ill of Donald Trump. Interesting story out of Boston yesterday, a court hearing over a big fight over legal fees at a class action lawsuit. The Arkansas Teacher Retirement System sued a investment company for cheating them on some trades. They won a $300 million settlement. That's good news. The group of lawyers that brought the suit, and it took years to come to fruition, got a $75 million payday out of it. Well, there have now been questions raised about whether that payment was everything it should be. Was it too much? There's a question that somebody was paid essentially a finder's fee for directing a law firm into this case on behalf of the state teachers retirement system. George Hopkins, the system's director, testified in federal court yesterday. Among the things that came out was that a former Arkansas legislator apparently helped put one law firm in this case together with teacher retirement some years ago and got them the work that turned out to be very lucrative for them. This is legal, the law firm says, in Massachusetts to pay such fees. There's still some elements in a report on this that haven't been released. Everybody's defending their actions in this, including George Hopkins and the law firm. I did learn today that Steve Ferris, a former state senator and a political insider in a number of ways for years in Arkansas, was the person who hooked up the law firm with teacher retirement. They were, by the way, hired before Hopkins became director of the agency. Paul Doan was director then. A story worth following. Well, here's a story about the failure of a voucher system, the only federally supported school voucher system in the country up in Washington, D.C. A study's in. The second one that now says that students who'd been in regular public schools and went to voucher schools showed a decline in their educational performance based on standardized tests, a sharp drop on math scores. Perhaps it'll discourage Betsy DeVos from expanding federal voucher programs. Somehow I doubt it. She isn't known for producing excellence in schools, but she is noted for directing public money into private pockets. So there's that. Interesting news out of Pine Bluff. Don't have all the details yet. Check with me later on the blog and I might have the final bit, but we do know that a member of the Community Corrections Department Special Response Team got in a scrap last Friday night in Pine Bluff with an old disputant of his, somebody that they've had arguments with in the past, and shot him. It wasn't a serious wound, I don't believe, and the Pine Bluff police took him into custody. It looks like the charge will be dropped. Community Correction doesn't want to talk about this very much. They said they decided that it was in self-defense, so he's back at work carrying a gun again, although his service revolver was reported stolen that night, he said. They don't seem to be concerned by arguments with gunfire by one of their officers, and he's back. They are allowed to carry guns while they're off duty, so no harm, no foul, except for maybe that leg wound. Also today, Circuit Judge Chris Piazza in Pulaski Circuit Court acquitted Michael Tate Reed of a charge of criminal mischief for knocking down the brand new Ten Commandments monument with his car last year. He found him innocent by reason of mental disease or defect. Reed will have to go back to the state hospital for continued treatment. He's been there for more than a year until they can deem him well enough to be released. This same thing happened to him in Oklahoma, where he knocked down a monument there. His family says he has a condition that needs medication. Sometimes he doesn't stick with his medication. What else we got today? Let's see. Well, there's yet another candidate to challenge Irma Hendricks, the 87-year-old city director in Ward 1 in Little Rock. Greg Henderson, a publisher of online magazines about Little Rock, says he'll run. He's the third challenger for Hendricks, who's been hard to beat in the past. Moms demand action on sensible gun laws were to be heard from yesterday at the state capitol in a hearing by the School Safety Commission about things to do about protecting schools. They say one thing they don't think is good for schools is to put more guns in the hands of teachers, too many unintended consequences. Also, an interesting blast from the national head of that organization, Governor Asa Hutchinson, said, whatever else we do in schools, and it seems clear that the establishment wants to put more guns in staff hands. He said stronger gun laws are off the table. Well, Shannon Watts says that constituents and voters will decide what's off the table on gun laws, and there's a lot of sign that there are a lot of people in the country that think there are some common sense things that can be done that can make us all safer around guns, not take them away from people, but make sure they're stored correctly, make sure dangerous people aren't allowed to purchase them, that sort of thing. We'll have that discussion whether Governor Asa Hutchinson wants to have it or not. Coming up ahead, June 9th in Little Rock, expecting a big crowd. They've moved an appearance by Bill Clinton and James Patterson, the novelist with whom Clinton has written a new presidential thriller, The President is Missing. It's going to be at the Jack Stevens Center at UA Little Rock on Saturday, June the 9th. It's free and open to the public. You got to make a reservation. You can find details on how to get there on our blog. They say they're going to be talking in a discussion moderated, by the way, by Mary Steenburgen about how some of the issues in this thriller chiller novel might apply to present issues today. I don't know. Are they going to talk about the swamp? Goodness knows there's a lot to talk about and a lot to resist. I urge you to do so. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.